Hello everyone, so allow me to continue the discussion that we had. So let's start. The place of grammar. So let us first define what is grammar. So grammar is the rules of a language governing the sounds, words, sentences, and other elements as well as their combinations and interpretation. So the word sounds here is that it really affects the pronunciations, right? And however, grammar also teaches us on how to use proper words, construct sentences grammatically too. And it also governs the combination and interpretation because it really gives meaning, clear meaning and meaning. So all of these elements is very essential, where it is the grammar possessed. And I don't think so if grammar should exist without these elements. So that's how important it is. However, no, if we hear the word grammar, we really tend to think about this one on the part of speech, the elements of categories. So considered na siya sa grammar also. During sa atong first year college, no, to those classmates ako na under kay Sir Fisher na he really talks about how to use part of speech and sentence structure and how to use part of speech in constructing sentences grammatically. So second one is the correct capitalization, contraction, and abbreviations and acronyms. So very common. It's a grammar. And the third one is the syntactic structures, phrases, clauses, sentence types. So it has also been part of grammar then, like very important kina siya ang syntactic structures sa grammar. And fourth one is the appropriate usage, often thought of as standard or educated forms. So why it is important no ang appropriate usage sa grammar? It is because appropriate usage give us a clear communication, right? Like it also correct us on how to use sentences structure, and it really gives us clear meaning too and an appropriating usage of grammar. So that's how important it is. However, balikan natin yung main topic natin, the place of grammar. So this one is meaning is a term that is used as a synonym for a conscious learning. So when we hear the word conscious learning no, as what I have said no, it really connected sa how we consciously use the syntactic rules and how we are being aware of using our sentence structure. So, na siya correctness sa when we talk about conscious learning. And however, possible rules a second language teaching program. First one is it can be used with some profit as a monitor because according to Fashion as what I have searched, na he said na ang monitor daw is a way to correct a form of knowledge that we apply in a certain new language. So baga ang monitor daw is internally work scanning for errors before we complete specific utterance or before we complete a utterance. So that's how the monitor is. Second one is used for grammar as a subject matter. So this one is also result for it has a really result for language acquisition. However, this topic would be discussed sa other reporters among group. So let's just have a short summarization about this topic. Okay, so next one.
Grammar for monitor used when the monitor is used. So let us first define what is monitor. So if monitor is that it is something that you regularly check its development or progress and sometimes comment on it. So we know that monitor is very important in the field of grammar, right? Because as stated here, it tracks the development or progress on how you use your grammar in acquiring your second language. Either it also identify either you're using correctly or incorrectly with your grammar. So that's how the important of monitor then. And however, in our previous lesson that we had, no, that it talks about, or we talk about our goal in pedagogy, that it is very encouraged na we should use optimal monitor. Kasi if the students will use optimal monitor, it would allow them to utilize conscious rules so that they can raise their grammatical accuracy. So, however, now when we define optimal monitor, users are learners who use the monitor appropriately. So it means if you are if you are optimal monitor users, so it means you know how to use the conscious rules. So that's how the very important when we define conscious rules kasi is that ang conscious rules is all about an approach to teaching or of a grammar. Yes, it is an approach of teaching of a grammar, and we know that consciousness is very essential and necessary for learning. However, conscious rules are not that easy to apply, no? And we should not expect most students talaga na they will successfully or um, fully apply the conscious rules to their output during their oral conversation like that. Kasi not all the students are good in applying conscious rules. So furthermore, the acquisition versus learning. I know that this one has already been discussed by Sir that on previous lesson, and however we just have a short recap about this. So subconscious acquisition and conscious learning. So we know diba that acquisition. Some other theory believes that acquisition is, or the LAD is maybe a sort of innateness. So it means it doesn't have literally needs for using of grammar or using of a standard grammar. Unlike sa conscious learning, kanang as what I've said na it really talks about the consciousness of a syntactic rules. You are consciously using syntactic rules. So in subconscious acquisition, as it's stated here, it really needs natural communication in the target language. Second one, it is an informal situation too, and it also depends on attitude and uses grammatical feel. So, wala siya nagasunod or it doesn't follow the standard, no. It doesn't follow the standard of using the grammar. Unlike subconscious learning, that it is all about the formal situations, depends on aptitude, uses grammatical rules. Yes, nag-use siya og grammatical rules ang conscious learning. So that's the difference between the two. Okay, so and another one is that when the monitor is used. So question number 1 is that where does the place of monitor is being used? So there's a necessary condition now for successful monitor, which is implementing a time. Kasi ang time is very important sa monitor. However, when the learners acquired what we call that acquired their second language, no. So the learners really need enough time to remember the previous knowledge they had so that they can apply it in a communicative way. So learners in that ways, ang learners is they need to think consciously about the rules they had learned or they have learned. So that's the important of time talaga for monitors. So it really needs for some preparation muna. And however, for the second, what is the barrier of using monitor without preparation? Um, Thinking about correctness or focused on form. Yes, because the most problem of it is kanang when we use monitor without preparation, no, is we're very much conscious of our grammar, either it is correct or incorrect. So that could be a thing pod sa regarding aning using monitor without preparation.